Global Advertiser for innovative outdoor solutions.
Global as a company, it has never compromised on its service quality and commitment.
Today, it's my pleasure to bring such Christopher Columbuses out here on this panel discussion, decoding the sales and marketing mindset. So I'll start with my first question to somebody whom I respect a lot, who's the senior most person out here. He's a man who started his career much before us and has been wearing different hats. He started as an architect, launched the most successful brand in hardware industry for us, which is today competing with all the global brands. He is none other than our own architect Jagdish Mistry. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you.
Sir, you have been in the industry for the longest time, and you have seen yourself as an architect. You're a very successful architect as well as a successful entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Industry in 80s was very different because something like internet was not there.
Right.
And there were successful architectural practices. Can you tell us at that point of time, how was it that this industry sold themselves or marketed themselves?
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Swapnil and Global for inviting us and to share our views with young architects and interested designers. All that. See, what happened when we started, I started in 83, 84. I became an architect and I got a chance with working with architect Nozer Wadia and Ratan Bartiboy. And there I got a chance to do the designing for the high-end clients, and I understood their taste and other things. Then I got a chance to work with architect Anish Motiwala. He's having all the corporate clients and the jewelers and others. Now what happened because of all these things, they both are having the different type of liking. Like the corporate clients are all the chameleon. And I used to do the directors, finance directors, everybody's work and all that thing. And my wife was very good cook. So we used to carry with the food for them, and I used to have the lunch time. I share the food with them, and we make a very good relation with them. That was with corporate line. When as far as the jewelers and other things are concerned, so they are very small time jewelers when we started our work, you know. And Bandra, most of the jewelers showroom designed by Anish Motiwalas and all that. So they are having the good clientele, but they are not in the style. So we used to, as an architect, also help them to how to do the opening, how to do the gatherings and other things. And with this, all those things, they used to introduce us to their clients. Whenever there is a housewarming party, they used to call. there is a small gathering, they used to call us. And it is a pride. With pride, they present us as architects to their fellow friends, relatives, and other things. So at our time, the architect was the proud for anybody, and that helped us a lot. Also, hence I like the parties and all the things. So I used to I used to organize the Dandiya Ras and invite my clients. I used to hire some farmhouse and call the clients with friends and other things and throw the parties. Many architects used to do the private parties at their farmhouse there, or they hire the bungalow at near sea facings and give the regular party. So we used to call the clients. With a client, we used to also invite their few other friends, and that way we are trying to gather the more and more.
So you are trying to say that time the atmosphere was like a page 3 atmosphere.
Right.
Right. You know, when we were in college, we used to always hear gossips about architecture. Some architect, senior architect, had his chamber, and next to that there was a small room, which was an ante-room, and he had a bed there. Now that poor man would used to be resting there, but rumors used to come as something else. And hoping that we will also get some chance like that, we joined architecture.
But you're not going to thank that.
Real estate has become expensive by the time we did architecture. So I understand every architect that point of time had his own style, and there used to be stories which were floating. You know, like I used to hear kisi architect ne kisi contractor ko thappad maar diya side pe. So that story used to be very famous. Or there used to be a regular story that some architect was doing, high-end architect, I won't name the architect. The story was that he was doing somebody's interiors, and the person did not like the interiors at the end of the project. So the architect asked him that, the client said that I did not like the interiors at all, whatever you have done. He said, what was the cost of the interior at that point of time? It was something 2 crores. And what's the cost of your house? 1 crore. He said, that means your investment was 3 crores. Architect removed a check of 4 crores and gave it to him and tell him, sell it to me. You know, those kind of stories I used to hear.
Right.
You know, the control of the architect over the client was very high. And these kind of stories used to be floating, which possibly made architects more popular. Was that the case?
Yeah, it was there. The Thappad Marna was regular tha usme. And what is all these things? All the architects are come out with some very good financial backgrounds. So that was also helping them. And there was a value for the architect. You know, there is only, I think, 2-3 colleges are there in Bombay. So because of the less number of colleges and other things, and only the people who are on the high society, they will be able to afford the architects or designers. So that was the thing.
This is a very interesting point. You know, my partner, Paddy, I asked him, when did the fee started becoming less? He said, when middle class people started becoming architects and they started their own practice, the fees actually dropped. Nothing against middle class, but what you're trying to say is that at that point of time, anybody who could afford a 7 years architectural course had certain luxuries of having that kind of a time with them. And when they came into profession, they really were not in a hurry of making wealth because they already were wealthy. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes. That was there, and that was mainly the style, you know. And I was very lucky that I started with Nozar and Ratan, and they are in the client like Tata's and whatever you say, you know, all high-end clients. And being the Parsi, they are having the good taste, the quality of the work they used to give. Today also, if you see in the entire our industry, the few Parsi architects are dominating the residential projects, you know, because they got their quality, they got all these things, and they got a respect and all that. So these are and they maintain their fees, their style, their budgetings and everything. But what happened afterwards, the interior scope is increased, colleges increase, designers increase, and the fee structure, whatever you say, it gone down and whatever. But still, that top architects are still having the same. They are benefiting and they are doing on the same line.
Was it deliberate to have a style during those days for architects? I mean, you would have seen the bell-bottom era also.
Yeah. I used to wear the hats, you know, and I was doing the collection of the hats. Come in the Times of India also, and I was doing that 100 of heads. And what I used to do after 100, whatever the entries I give to the architects and friends who are playing the golf and all that thing. So that was my style. I went after 4 or 5 years back in one of the event, and many old architects did not remember me because I was not wearing the hat that time. So they say, "Yeah, where is your hat?" So everybody having different styles, and that was our identity.
So do you remember any architect predominantly with the style? Like I used to always hear a style of Raja Edri, with the pipe.
Actually, I don't like to share all these type of things,
Okay.
because the way you stated me about I'm a designer as well as I'm the part of the entrepreneur organization, so I don't like to share much inside.
Okay,
But,
let's ask audience a question. Can we have the first poll question, please? The question is, what fetches your project? Is it design? Is it business development? Or it is the fees that you put? Oh, 50% people believe design, and 38% believes business development, and 13% believe fees.
Not bad. Swapnil, 38% still believe.
Believe in salespeople.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the second question goes to someone, who's youngest among us. And I still remember, when I started my career as although being an architect, as a business development person by accident. And whenever I used to reach to any client, they always used to speak about this person. ये आके गया, इसको जानते हो क्या? And believe me, he was a man who used to sniff projects. कहाँ उसको खुशबू आ जाती थी project, and used to reach everywhere. And he's a man who have pulled the carpet below the feet of most of the architects. He's none other than the youngest entrant in our industry, Rakesh Wadhwa. Rakesh, how are you?
Yeah, hi,
Is that a good introduction for you? That you used to sniff projects everywhere?
No, I am humbled by what you are trying to say, but as I said, we will always look at all the veterans and we will learn. So coming into this industry was more by accident for me, because I came from a very affluent textile businesses and all. So like how our other panelist, senior person, is also from the other industry who came in. But when I came in, what excited me most was, as the journey started, I started the journey with Della Technica. That was my kind of a first job, to say, as I came from a business background. Okay. And also I got excited about, meeting different kind of industry players and different kind of brands. One day we were meeting a Google, one day we were meeting a financial services companies, one day a Citibank, or one day a logistic company. So that kind of excited me, why not? I mean, so, and specifically we were 20 years back, 19 years back.
What age was it? At what age did you come in this industry?
Age-wise, if I say, I came actually around 26, 27. But as I said, after college, I was into my dad's business. It's just that I did a love marriage. He kicked me out. So that's a different story altogether. So that came so I had to come in this industry, and I ended up with Jimmy Mistry.
So what was your role when you started at Della Technica? The first thing that
So when I came to Della Technica, the first role was to promote modular furniture and customized furniture, as we used to also import from Italy. Jimmy used to import almost around 22 brands from Italy. So that was a different exposure, and then had his own manufacturing. And that is where, customized furniture,
But-
promoting
but-
all this.
But let me ask you, every time I used to reach to a client and they used to say, "Aap Rakesh Wadhwa ko jante ho." Now, how is it that you could reach every place before everybody?
It's it's what I learned from my business background, that it's very important to follow what are the trades, what are the things that are coming up in newer in the market, where are the expansions happening. I mean, it's very important to follow the industry pattern of where the expansions are happening, where the funding can come in. So what happens is you don't have to wait for a project to come in. I mean, it's the process, so you need to follow the process, understand the mindset, where if there is funding coming in, where the expansion is coming in, eventually that funding is going to go where? Either it's going to be an office space, either it's going to be a manufacturing.
I thought you had your khabris to tell you who's buying place where. I didn't know there was so much of a scientific way behind it.
No, khabris is a part and parcel. As you said, without network, you cannot move forward. So it's always there. As I said, during the process, that having a network is a process in itself. So that we obviously do. But how I got into getting this, because modular furniture promoting helped me, because my first target audience was y'all architects and designers. I mean, which is always exciting to meet them. And as you said and gave the introduction, how celebrated the architects would be. So it's always important to meet somebody. And I'll tell you, my first meeting in this industry, to be said is, and if you say architecture, my first meeting in the industry was with Mr. Hafiz Contractor himself. So it actually gave me a different gist of how we are looking at.
I have been told that you knew weakness of all the architects at point of time.
Not really, sir. I would. I don't know how people perceived it, but I sincerely put is, as I said, there is a method to do everything. There is a methodology. There is a process that we want to work and strategize. I mean, that's where how otherwise we would be able to market a designer's work, or how able to work. So what happened is we started with a process of design thinking of how, because there was a time when it started moving to design and build. I still remember Jimmy telling me one night at 10 o'clock in the evening, stop selling furniture. And I was like, how, why are we closing down our business? And he said, no, we decide to go through a process of doing design and build.
So let's hold on to that. I will decode you furthermore in time to come. Let me go to the next panelist. He is a man who has always mentored me. I still remember whenever I used to go to a client, there used to be somebody whose name client used to take with a lot of respect. He has written himself as director of Edifice, director business development of Edifice. I would say his director growth, not just business development of Edifice. Absolutely humble, very approachable, very mentoring kind of a person. None other than Ramji Sarandar. Hi, Ramji.
Hi.
How are you doing?
That's praising too much. One thing I've learned in this industry is taking on from where Rakesh left. Yes. I mean, we salespersons or we BD persons, we believe.
Let's call it growth person.
Okay,
growth people.
No, I'll put it this way. We believe in networking.
Okay.
I mean, you just pointed out to. I didn't know this, Rakesh. I also come from a textile background.
Oh wow.
I used to know my warp and weft on my left hand. So from that background, I joined the architectural industry. I think around when I was about 38, 39 or 40, I would say. This October, I turned 60. So technically this March, I hung my boots. Ravi and Sanjay they still want me to continue. But technically I've hung the board of the practice. I have seen 20 years of growth in Edifice. And all the more selling or marketing services is a different ball game because you're something creative, something being perceived, and you need to package creativity differently.
Raji, I want to ask you one question. Let my question be pointed at you. Edifice has always grown very strategically, and people like us have grown organically. Aaya to aaya, nahi aaya to nahi aaya. Last time when I interviewed Ravi, I realized everything was very planned. Okay, and I'm sure Edifice also must be doing sales plan along with it. And this sales plan
Oh yes,
for BD people, it's called forecasting. Which industry do you need to go? When do you want to close what? A calendar of closure of projects.
so I would put it.
I want to hear about that. How is it that you did forecasting?
So, unfortunately, Swapnil, in our industry, I mean, it is a fragmented industry, but there's no raw data available. You just asked Rakesh, I mean, I'm going back to Rakesh, where you used to get is known opportunities or khabris or whatever you call it. So, to do a forecast, we used to rely, I mean, at Edifice, I used to rely on the IPC's research data. So this gave a fairly accurate data to, forecast. Those days, whether it was Edifice or whether it was any other company, it was the growth era, the 2000, 2001, 2002. Everybody was doing only interior fit out projects. And these IPC's data used to give so much of fund of knowledge, how much of square foot of space available in the next 3 months, 6 months, and a year down the line. So this gave us to, actually, project which sector or how much of we can go. And we also worked out on our hit ratio. So if I pitch in so much, how much I am converting? So we had a calculation in Edifice that if I pitch in so much, I'm going to get so many conversions.
So you used to decide, I need to do so many pitches every month.
Not every month, because you're not going to Shopper Stop to buy shirts. So it used to be over the year.
Over the year, not even the quarter. You used to plan a quarter?
Yeah, so corrective measures we used to take, Swapnil. You need to take corrective measures. So every quarter review was there, management review used to happen. So, and Edifice, we always de-risked, I would say we still have about 7 verticals, master planning and urban design. We are in corporate architecture. We are in
do you have, for a different vertical,
no.
You have a different salesperson?
No. Well, I mean, sales is sales. I mean, today you are selling services. I mean, the services for a different vertical is not going to change. Maybe the ultimate use of the project could be different, but the salesperson.
But the market information could be different for developer projects. The market information could be different.
You need to hone your skills when you go to sell a hospitality project and when you go to sell a healthcare project. Certain nuances of that project you should know. Certain standards you should know.
But what about the focus? For example, you just spoke about IPCs. IPC have got somebody who's selling industrial.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody is selling.
They have
hospitals.
So you need to, as a salesperson in an organization, if you're working in a service industry like ours, you need to know basic tenets of that vertical, like healthcare. So if it is a 4-star hotel, what will be the square footage? These things, these keep all I mean, I always tell my friends from the industry, these are icebreakers in a conversation.
Rakesh, tell me this. You were competing against those architects, people like us, who were not into design build.
Yes.
And there was always this conflict of design or design build. And Ramji was always a torchbearer of pure design.
Absolutely.
And me and Ramji used to always say to the client, and we used to convince the client on the other side, saying that don't go for design build. And you were the guys who were saying go for design build. And of course, both of us had completely different clientele. with completely different mindsets. Ramji, I want you to throw a little focus on is how this conflict was there between design and design build in our industry.
So, yeah.
And what are the kind of clients who went for design and what were the kind of clients who went for design?
So in short, you're asking me, how do I qualify a lead?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, by and large, when you're talking to the client, when he invites you or he gives you a call or the PM, instead of wasting their time and my time, first thing I ask, which route are you going to take? Is it conventional or the DNB approach? So if they say conventional, okay, first step closed, we are moving ahead. Then you find out about the client, how long they have been in India, and if they have done a couple of earlier projects, there is always the vendor network to lean upon. The first thing is check with the AC vendor. I see one of my oldest friends in the industry he's there on this webinar, Sundar Krishnamurthy from Blue Star, veteran. So you give him you talk to the AC guys or talk to the ceiling guys, talk to the carpet guys. They will be able to help you whether they have serviced that client. From that conversation, gauge how the client has been. And if the earlier architect has not messed up, and he's also, not messed up in delivery of the earlier project, you can be assured that your chances are just about 20% or 30%. I saw a question on the question answer panel. Somebody had asked the first question, if there are 10 architects and what is the parameter to judge the top 2 architects? Okay, Edifice has taken a stand nowadays. If there is a mela or a fashion parade, we just walk out. Why waste the client's time and why the architect's time also needs to be wasted? We just walk out. There have been cases 12, 13. Recently in February, it's not fair on my part to name the client. 12, 13 architects being called for a 150,000 square feet assignment. Even project managers need to understand at the end of the day, the client is going to get confused. 14 options, 12 options, and how's he going to decide? Finally, it boils down to price. And another thing, as a practice, we've always had this tussle within Edifice. I think me and Ravi, the first government job for Edifice, we got, both me and Ravi were gung-ho, I would say. We got a break into LIC, and that too, it was a double dhamaka. We got 2 projects in Ghaziabad, 2 commercial buildings. After that, the next one we did was IRDA in Hyderabad. But honestly, dealing with government is not simple. So we maintain a barge pole, and we will not take up government pursuits unless and until there is a recognition and payments are going to be on time. Those kind of projects we do. Otherwise, it's a fistful of salt. It's taken before we take up a government. But we do a thorough analysis before pitching for answering a question, before pitching for a client.
Okay, let's go for one poll. Can we have the second poll question for the audience? This poll question is very important. Does your firm has a sales and marketing plan at the beginning of the year? I want people to genuinely answer it because it's going to throw certain insights. This is for all the architectural and design firms, people who are there. I'm sure the vendors and suppliers would have. It's only about our industry. Wow, 76% people are saying yes, which is a big change. Awesome. So I want to take it slightly little ahead. in terms of today's time, there has been always innovation and disruption in all the industries. For example, everybody came up with new products every now and then. And the new products which came in have been responsible for improving the experience and the utility for the client at time. Ramji, I want to ask this question to you. Do you see something which has happened disruptive over the last 20 years by means of which client could differentiate between the architects? Why client calls 10 architects is because all the 10 architects are delivering the same. Do you see anybody of them having a differentiator which would have made client's job much easier? Or a disruptor?
Yeah. Swapnil, I personally in this 2 decades, I have, if you talk about disruption happening in our industry.
From an architect's perspective.
Yeah.
So one of the products, yes.
Yeah, products, yes. One of the major disruption from a service point of view, DNB was a disruption.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah, it was a major disruption because whether it is a project manager or whether it is the client from a convenience point of view, they decided to go in for either the architectural route or go for the design and build route. But if you talk from from a sales perspective, see, a salesperson always needs a little bit of tools to carry the baggage and package it and sell it to the ultimate client or stakeholder sitting in that boardroom in the corner of that when you go there and wait for 30-35 minutes or 40 minutes and then you're called, please come, because they will waste your time but they will not, so you will have to wait 40-45 minutes and then they call you. So I would say I have seen this era right from the basic models being made in a mount board. It has evolved, and today everybody rather the technology has become so. I mean, it's again a disruptive way of presenting the concept is the VR. You have VR in your office. Edifice has now recently invested into VR. When you take the VR, take the equipment with the goggles and everything to the client, he's taken in a different plane altogether.
But tell me this, if everybody is taking the same thing, again, people start, this is very surprising in most of the industries, that if a market leader starts something, everybody copies it. Like work from home.
Not really. See,
because we are again, everybody has it today. I mean, there is no as such differentiator.
Yeah. So people were slow to adopt to technologies. Now people are doing even 3D printing.
Right.
3D printing, people are investing into it and they are offering that model to the client as such. But again, see, there are options available for you to be the leader in creating the disruption in the market. But again, it comes with a price. But the major disruption in this 20 years have been, I would clearly,
technology.
It is the DNB and the conventional way.
DNB is a disruption. Now, if you look at the next question goes to Jagdish Bhai. There are typically 3 kinds of firms which always existed. One was an efficiency practice, which is typically, I would straightaway name it's like Edifice or Worksphere or Della Technica or whoever. These were the guys who were at the beck of the call of a client. You give them a call, they were very service prone, deliver before time or maybe on time, was one kind of a practice. The second kind of a practice was a matured practice, where these were the people who were veterans in the industry. Client used to call them because they knew that these guys have done it in past, they will do it again and they will rarely fail. These are typically kind of a practice which were like PG Patki or Prakash Mandkar or these guys who were very specialized into a niche. And they exactly knew what they had to do. And the third kind of a practice was, I would call it a rocket science practice, which was extremely creative. They used to always used to do kind of a projects which would be very loud and speak for themselves, when they used to get a lot of awards. And they used to do one project which was possibly, it's not that they had a long track record, but client used to come to them because he wanted to have something different. Now these three kind of practices which were existing in the market earlier also, and they're existing now also, do these three practices have a different approach to sales and marketing? All three of them.
Yeah, the way you said the efficient practice, the like edifice and other things they are doing. So Ramji already explained how they are approaching and how they are doing the marketing of and getting the projects and all that thing. So as per me, all are having the different way of the processing. The answer is already given by you. What is the efficient marketing, matured and rocket science and other things.
Yeah.
So when I say the efficient marketing, that Ramji has already told how they are pitching.
Matured practices,
like the mature practices. If you say like architect Nitin Kilawala, Chandrasekhar Panikkar, and all that thing. So today also they are very good in their detailing and then approach and the simplicities and all the things. So they are doing the same way because see now the way Rakesh told after Mr. Jim Mistry, they are giving the guarantee about the products, no question. Same way when you say architect Nitin Kilawala, if his contractor are doing any work, so it is Nitin Kilawala assured. You don't have to worry. They will just take out the thing because it is on the architect's word. They used to take the, like say, umber chairs. So if you are taking the umber chairs, no question is asked. It's a guaranteed product. So these are mature practice are doing the same way. When this type of rocket science, whatever you are saying, the architects like Sanjay Puri and Kalan Mathu and all that thing, and their client also wanted to be in the limelight. They also wanted that our products should be top of the town and it should be the international level. It should be appreciated. So they like to play different way. If it is not practical, they are okay with that. So they look that type of thing, and also they look every time the new architect. It is not necessary that they will go only this architect only. So this is what I said, and for the young architect, it is a very good that they get a chance more in this type of projects, where they can come out with the innovative ideas and all that thing. So I'm noticing today nowadays many architects are putting up their new project, which is not unbuilt project. Unbuilt project they are putting into the Instagram and all that thing, but they are saying what is the creativeness that's what and all that thing. So this is the way they are marketing themselves.
So
and
this is again something very interesting you said about Instagram. Earlier, Ramji, Rakesh, you would remember, you used to pick up a phone and speak to people. Okay, my question goes to Rakesh. Is the role or the way we have been doing sales, where there used to be a cold calling, has changed to digital? And how much is it affecting? Are you getting really inquiries through digital marketing? Is it changing?
Yes and no. What digital has done is made a world a smaller place. I mean, the reach which has happened has increased all of a sudden because you're portraying things on a larger platform. You're showing people we are available. I mean, there is a limitation always by picking up a call and calling to people only to whom you can reach. Okay, so the idea is at all given period of time, as much as what you portray, as Jagdish sir said, everybody is putting on digital platforms. Why? The idea is today, I mean, a new generation is watching through, or anyone who's looking at, first thing is on the Google platform, search engines, Instagram, where people have followers and the organizations are being followed by millions of people. I mean, the advent is, as I said earlier also, if you're working, please advertise. So the way things have changed, and classic example like in pandemic, how we are able to do this. I mean, we are all stuck by this and we are restricted to move, the moment of restriction of movement. But I can tell you, we are more busier than ever working from home, because it has opened, the technology has opened the plethora of doing work, reaching people. in a different platform. So
Rakesh, something interesting when I was conversing with you. You said most of the architects think they are popular and they are doing marketing, but most of us are known among our fraternity.
yes,
And you said the real marketing is all about you being known outside your fraternity.
yes,
And possibly the social media is doing that,
Hmm.
right? And the firms that you have worked, we spoke about Della. Let's come to other firms like ANG or anybody else who have worked. You have consistently delivered, and very rarely a sales guy consistently delivers. Okay. So what's your thought in terms of making an architect known outside his fraternity, and how important it is?
yeah. So I would first of all I like to thank you for stating that delivered. So I take this platform actually to thank all the veterans, all the partners, all the bosses who gave me the platform, and all our colleagues and teammates. Because I very strongly believe it's never you alone. It's the whole team that allows you to bring in the whole success story about anything that you do. When we say okay, how it has changed and how things have changed, see, I will go back to the recall value that we discussed, and I would like to add some case studies to it. Okay, primarily, it's very important why people believe, as I said, it's a lot of capex value that goes in doing our projects or creating a home also, because it's a personalized value. So the value is a brand that gives you. So if you're design, an architect is there, he wants to build that trust. People want to have that trust. If I am using that product and the brand, it will create its impact on is their own image. So what happens is when you talk about recall value, so it's very important. We talk about Apple, Coke, BMWs, Gucci's, international.
Let's talk about our industry.
Yeah, I'm talking about industry. Godrej, if you say Godrej is associated with cupboards, okay. But how the recall value in our industry actually came from is, I would like to give you a certain example of Jimmy Mistry. The branding that he brought in terms of right from people coming in from people at the factory, workers in jumpsuits, uniform drivers with logos, transportation and trucks. We discussed about all these things.
Yeah.
Getting a PR and doing into all magazines, Young Turks, having pastry parties. So it was everywhere. It's all about marketing. Is all about creating curiosity.
So he
Like
believed strongly in letting people outside of fraternity know
because
about.
that's where as I said in 2001, 2, as Ramji sir also said, the way India was growing and the plethora of projects were happening, but for some reasons, it was not seen. So there are a lot of services that are available. People should know. So he brought in that change of doing that PR and creating that brand value. As you, that's why where we are coming, I'm giving you examples of brands from the different industry. It was an inspiration, Louis Vuitton. You talk about Gucci's. Everybody has that trust in that. What about our industry? Our architects doing wonderful projects, but people would not know only in the community that we've been discussing. So hence we took that into a different platform.
In fact, Hafiz was the first person who branded himself really well.
Yes.
Jagdish, you have been seeing the entire change. You're on mute. It was Hafiz Contractor who did possibly somebody told me that maybe somewhere in early 80s, he hired a PR firm to brand himself. And it was all the hoardings where his name used to come. Was it a conscious effort, Jagdish?
Yeah, it was. You're asking me the wrong question.
Okay. I will answer it. He was a man who made architect popular among a common man. Let's put it this way. It is necessary. It is needed that we be known. Most of the people call us architecture, not an architect. I mean, that's the situation. And I really hats off to those people like Jimmy Mistry and Hafiz Contractor who could, really sell ourselves to a common man. Yeah, Jagdish was.
So what I like to say, what you told about the Mr. Hafiz Contractors and all these things. So I just like to say what is happening nowadays. Nowadays what is happening. The few in last few years, if you just see the few architects and designers, they become the face of the many events. Like a manufacturer have come out with an innovative techniques to engage all these architects in these events, and thereby it is created opportunity for both of them to grow together. Now these innovative new names are the curators, mentors, jury, knowledge partners, panelists, and many more. So I think so we architects are now better, smarter, and know how to.
But again, those curated shows are for architects. There's one architect watching another architect. Even today.
No. That time they are calling the clients also, and their clients also coming. But the second day clients come, first day architects come. So that is the way they are in the party or in the launching party. They call the clients.
But they don't call them together.
They don't, because I was a part of this last event, which is curated by ZZ Architects. So I was there for the 3 days. So first day also I seen that my client were there. So he got an invitation from the Times of India groups and other things. And last day also I saw our clients are there because it was a Sunday. So these are way they are working in the collaboration. And I tell you very frankly that few years back, I used to tell all my architect friends why we are not going the way Europe and other countries are doing the promoting the designers. Now, if you see in the Milan and all these places, the designers and the manufacturers are work very closely, hand to hand. They work. They each other promote both of them, and that's why you'll see the grow is having the designers products and all that things. Now in India, I started with a few architects, one group like Beyond Architecture. For there, I invited the architects and I requested them, can you design the products? I'll see manufacture and we'll help you out. So this process is going on. As on today, you will see many architects like they are in the designing of the fabrics. Some architects are designing the rugs. They tie up. Roshan is designing the furniture. Ashish is doing some furnitures and all that thing. So if the contractors or say manufacturer and architect come together and create something, it will be win-win situation for everybody.
So you're talking about co-branding.
Co-branding, and where there's no any degrading the designers, all these things. So through Mr. Jimmy Misra, what I like to say, know from Rakesh, when Mr. Jimmy Mistry and other architects are started design build, so their license as an architecture practice license still there, or how they do?
So Jimmy Mistry is not an architect.
Yeah,
by
qualification.
qualification.
Not an architect.
Okay.
Qualification.
So here, what we should know from the architect COI, if as an architect, like I do anything, so how I should put up my name, to part of the designer. So that way, if anyway, the designers and my collaboration will be going to be helpful for everybody, and it will be the good growth for Indian also.
Ramji, would you add something to it? You have seen a lot of platforms like Coronet and CE Worldwide where architects, clients, everybody is together. And even vendors are together on the same platform.
Yeah, I mean, these kind of networking platforms, they really help and you come to know what are the projects which are coming. Of course, you should know your limit, how much you want to expose yourself.
Okay.
So, I mean, you be selective what platform you want to visit because more than networking, it also becomes these kind of platforms. You learn a lot actually. What's happening? You come to know about new products. That's why sometime back I made a mention. Vendors, they form in the pyramid. They are one of the corners, and every successful project, a vendor has its say also. So vendors should not be neglected in any way in any project. I mean, they are part of your success, I would say.
Okay, now we are about to end the webinar because we are a little bit time up. I would like to understand that post-COVID, is sales as a function going to be more important, less important, or is it going to change? Rakesh, do you have any answer to this?
Post-COVID, I mean, it's all about. I will say, see, the change has already happened. The change has already happened. The way things are looked at, and as we discuss, how we are reacting and how we are reaching out to people. It's very important in this point of time to be in front of the people, known to people. Okay, yes, we are available. We are back on track more than ever. In case if we were meeting architects or clients or anyone, like, once in a month, it's more important that you reach out to them 3 times in a month. It's just for the fact that, it's always after the scenario. It's like how we call today is BC and AC, before COVID and after COVID is something that is changed the dynamics. So it's very important because everybody is feared. Everybody is not sure about what is happening. So it's only about collaboration. Being available along with people will help you to get into the aspects of, how you are approaching this whole thing. Obviously, this is a temporary phase which everybody will come out. But what I very strongly believe, one aspect that will stand out is the attitude.
Jagdish, you're talking about vendors and architects coming together.
Right.
Now, post-COVID or during COVID situation, which is there, do you see a possibility of vendors and architects coming together on digital platforms? Where, architect starts endorsing some products, the vendors start endorsing architects because vendors have got budgets, to
already
reach out.
I saw the recently the Jaipur Rugs launched the product designed by Shantanu Garg, architect Shantanu Garg, and they launched digitally the products and all that thing. So that is already launched during this period, and that is the way many things is going to possible digitally.
Hamji, what's your take on it?
Swapnil, this problem is not restricted to India alone. The entire planet has got this problem. But a salesperson should continue to evolve during this period. He should add value to his interaction. The content, because ultimately now and way forward, that is 3 months, 6 months down the line, we don't know till when the situation is going to be like this. All they say is when the vaccine is going to be discovered or tried, tested, proven, and administered. So leverage remote working tools. Try to get one cardinal, rule I would say is even while working at home, please be dressed in proper shirt and trouser. I learned this from one of my oldest colleagues, my fellow director Sanjay's cousin Rajesh Nagarajan. He graduated from the Army Engineering College in Lonavala. He always used to advise us, if you are working from home and there is no office, to get into that culture of working, please be dressed properly.
You said something very important. Now with COVID, where we are not speaking to anybody, you are going to be interacting with people on social media, and you use the word content. Now, once anything written on social media cannot be erased. So now the sales guy need to write content because whatever he writes would be his digital footprint.
Yeah, so it has to be smart. It has to be to a focused audience and clear-cut message. Because if you see, Swapnil, of late, everybody wants you to come on just like this webinar. I mean, the vendor fraternity want to promote and get an audience of 30, 40, 50, 100 to promote a product. And it is very crisp, ultimately. The presentation is crisp.
So, should we take questions from audience and then we have one last closing statement from all the panelists?
I think one question I will answer, Swapnil. There's somebody who is Ashok P. how much would the recommendation of the IPC or PMC weigh with the clients in decision making?
Wow, all yours, Ramji.
So, Ashok, my take is very simple. I mean, I'm going back to, PMC is engaged by a client, and more and more projects, more and more architects are called for a project. So you need to be judicious, or how many, and there are clients who are transparent enough. They say, you are one among 5, you are one among 6, you are one among 7. You decide you want to participate or not. That is number 1. Number 2, this is for the last 2 decades, I've been hearing this from IPCs or from project managers. All things considered, you are on the same platform as other architects when you're pitching in and you're being evaluated. And then that evaluation counts on the design. So if you see the current trend in the government bids for large projects, they are so transparent. It is not on price, it is purely on design. That trend I don't see in the corporate culture. I would say it is about 50% design, and it is tilting more towards price.
Okay. There's one question which I would like to take is written by Apeksha Kore. Hi Apeksha. How do you comprehend an architect's contribution to sales and marketing in architecture and allied works today and in future? And what is the future of an architect in sales and marketing world for allied businesses? You know, this is something interesting. There's a professor called Professor Uday Atwankar, who is an architect and a product designer. And he once told me that, architects are very different than regular normal people. I said, how? He said, you go to a place and after some days, you take first time when you go, you take your wife along. And next time when you go again, ask your wife for directions. And she will not be able to give you directions. But you as an architect would be very good in terms of maneuvering and reaching that place. Essentially what he says, architects are very visual people. They can visualize any kind of a situation. They can visualize any kind of space in 3D. Now, this is something which is a unique character of an architect, which can be applied in any kind of business. So an architect, when he visualizes the entire scenario, and whatever you visualize can very easily manifest. And architects can be fantastic people if they apply that kind of a skill set in sales and marketing, where you're visualizing what your client is going to speak, how you're going to answer, what is he going to be wearing, what are you going to be wearing, where are you going to be sitting, where is he going to be sitting. That entire thing would definitely give an architect an upper edge. Ramji, would you like to add something? Jagdish bhai, would you like to add something to this?
Yeah, I like to add. Ramji, first you finish.
No, Jagdish, you go ahead.
Jagdish bhai, you are the best person because you have marketed Neki, your brand, phenomenally well, being an architect.
Okay, so see, I'll tell you when you say marketing and other things, I'll keep in my mind that whatever I'm giving the services to my fellow architect friend. So on that concept, whatever I bring on the platter, it is appreciated. So when I launched this Kitsch hardware in India in 1998, that time I was not eager to market the products, but all architect friend told me by this product only professional person can only do the marketing. And luckily my wife was interior designer and she took over that thing, and all architect friends are helped a lot to her and appreciated. So that is the background. Now in the time of the COVID, I come up with the 3 things, What is the 3 things? What I noticed, one is there is a lot of, in 3 months, we are able to be from cook to chef, and from the floor, we clean the floor better than our normal servants and other things, because we are in the equipments and all that thing. So we are able to do the more cleaner the plates and all these things. So then I come out with the three things. Number one, I said, let us have some technical training program for the professional, their colleagues or laymen. So yesterday only I spoke to the chairperson of the Triple ID, President Jabil, that why we can't have the training program in the plumbing, in the air conditioning, in the carpentry. And these are the trainings for the laymen and for the students or anybody, because that will help us in the future. So that is one program I'm thinking. Second, I'm thinking the site management course, because if you see for the small projects also, if the site management course will be there, it will be helpful for the architects and the contractors and the clients. So this is one more things I'm thinking for the our fraternity. And third thing, to give the platform to the architects and designers to promote their products. So this third thing I'm working out on that. We had a discussion with a few architects who are good in the product designing, and they are ready to come out under one platform, and we are going to call that thing. So coming to the what I have to say, it's the collaborations and whatever the practicality one should know, and the multitasking. So these are the few things I am like to add. And with all these things, we will raise our own platform, we'll raise our own bar, and society also will be able to raise the societies also and the standard of livings and other things. So this is what I say to all of my friends.
Ramji, do you have anything to?
Yeah, you have, I would say, use this time as a salesperson. You could use this time to do a lot of research. You could use this time to do cold calls. You could use this time to.
The question is does architect have an advantage in terms of sales vis-a-vis?
No, it is a misnomer. An architect does not become a good salesperson.
Now, does he have some advantage?
Oh yes, he can convey the design pretty well. If he has got a good gift of the gab, he can convey the design pretty well. Otherwise, leave it to the salesperson.
Okay.
Totally agree with Ram.
Totally agree.
Yeah, because see, I would say, you need, you might be a good architect and good designer, but you need to have to express that design, you need to have a gift of the gab.
So Jagdishji, Ramji and Rakesh, do you think there should be a masterclass for architects to be a good salesperson?
I think so. Architects should not go into the
Sales.
No, never. They should be good marketing people. Once you do the proper marketing, the way I done in the past 21 years back, I done the marketing. I not sell the products, because as soon as I'll come into the sales the products, then the figure will come, then the target will come, which I don't want to go. I'm here to enjoy my work. What is my work? To come out with the best of the best products and to give to my.
So fundamental difference between marketing and sales is marketing is attracting customers towards you, and sales is you going to the customer. Right. Yeah. So with that, I would like to have a closing statement from each one of you. Rakesh, what do you have to advise to people? I wouldn't say advice, just a small conclusion of today's.
Conclusion is attitude. Okay, it's the attitude that differentiates people from leaders and commoners. So it's the attitude to survive. Specifically, people like in our generation, we are in this 2 decades have seen colossal proportion situations in 2008, which was economic downturn. Now it's COVID. So I believe it's a very strong attitude that will allow you to survive and grow. So
the marketing guys should never be ready to listen to no.
Yeah, no naysayers don't come in.
Ramji?
I have believed in 3 P's.
Oh.
People, process, and physical evidence. See, people include the employees who deliver the projects. You have invested. Your people will have to work with the service consumer basically. Process is the service delivery process which you have implemented, and the physical evidence is the service which you offer to them. If you have these 3 P's inbuilt in your system, I think you can go different places here.
Right. Jagdish ji?
I'll just say कि whatever you learn up till now, whatever age, whatever main years and all that thing, you try to give your subordinate, and you become one ladder ahead than that, and he can climb, you can climb. So best thing to give into the society, give to the whatever you can able to give. That's all. Knowledge, why you say whatever we say, giving. I'm believing in the giving. Then other thing will come automatically.
Thank you. So you're looking at giver's gain.
Right.
Right. So thank you very much, audience. Thank you very much, Global. And we had such a lovely panelist. Really enjoyed. We would look forward for more such webinars, and we would always urge people to come and contribute, speak, and be a part of us. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.